Rob just said that he tries to tell you guys a story for each game. Does that make sense? What does it mean? Rob Sala said he tries to give you guys a story for each game.
The defense, yeah.
During the install.
Yeah, not the offense.
Yeah, I mean,
We don't hear it, I don't know.
you don't get a story.
No, we don't get a story. Wish we did. I've heard they're epic.
What I think it is, that's made you guys such a great run team beyond the obvious commitment from the coaching staff.
Yeah, I think schematically, what we do offensively is really hard to defend. I think also just the mentality that we have as a whole entire offense. It's not just all on the offensive line. It's not all on the fullback. It's not on the running back. It's complete team effort. I think the wide receivers really buying into really being run blockers and committing to that is huge. You don't see that around the league. And they really understand that, if they really commit and go all board in the run game, that it's going to open up things for them in the passing game. And, I think a lot of our skill players have no ego as far as stats go. They're going to do whatever they can do to, give us the win. And I think this last game, the game before that too, was really indicative of that. You didn't hear any complaining after the game. Obviously, we're going to the Super Bowl, so it all worked out. But even during the game, no one was complaining about no targets or anything like that. They were all fired up for the run, what we were able to do. So I think that's a lot to do with it, just the mentality of everything.
Does that permeate the whole team on both sides of the ball when you take
Yeah, I think just that, no ego, do whatever we can do, fill our role, that whole thing that's preached about all the time, but it's never really done. I think that's really indicative of who this team is and what we've been all year. Is just whatever we can do to help the team, whatever our role is for this football team. Raheem's a huge example of that, just being a guy that wanted to be the best special teams player he could, never complaining about touches, gets his opportunity. As the season goes on to get more carries, takes advantage of that, and then has the biggest game in the biggest moment.
You gave Nick pass rushing advice in the summer when you were going against each other. Has that continued?
I didn't have to give him much, though.
I thought you guys...
yeah, we were talking. It was more like, hey, why are you beating me so bad?
Do you ever kind of give him tips during the year about how to attack a certain tackle or anything like that?
Not really. He's been unbelievable from day one. He's so physically gifted, whether it's, just his pure athleticism that he has, the power that he plays with, this understanding of how tackles are going to attack. I might, during a game, say, if I'm watching or catch something, I'd be like, hey, this, the tackle's really sitting down in your bull rush now. You have him set up, so whenever you want to do hands or whatever like that. But he's also usually one step ahead of me. He's like, yeah, I know, I'm going to be doing that next series. So, he's got plenty of soundboards that have been very successful in his life, his brother being the main one. And but, yeah, we always keep communication open, and, practicing against him always makes me better.
How do you view all the discussion around Jimmy, and just given the fact that he'll take criticism because you guys only ran through 8 passes in the NFC title game?
That's
and how do you
wild
think
that he takes criticism for that. We won the game. We were doing what we needed to do to win the game, and that's the main point of a NFL football game. I think he'd be pretty sad if he threw for 450 and we lost, so it doesn't really matter.
He also said that he does see it, and he does take it in and not address it publicly like Richard Sherman does. But how do you think Jimmy is handling all of that talk?
I don't think, if he says he sees it, he doesn't show it. He's been the same exact person since he's been in here. He prepares the exact same way. We have the utmost confidence in him to do whatever is needed to be done. We've had plenty of games this season where we've really had to lean on him heavily to win the games for us, and he's come through every single time. I think that's a storyline because we didn't throw the ball, obviously, the last game, but we didn't need to. And I think that's also a strength of Kyle, is that he's going to do whatever it takes to win the game, and whatever he feels like is working the best is what we're going to do. And so that doesn't fall on Jim's shoulders at all. It's a complete team effort, and I think that's another example of this team being very selfless in what we're doing, is that you have the quarterback that could care less if he throws for 500 yards or if he throws for 10. He just wants to win the game, and it's the whole entire team like that.
How will your Super Bowl experience help you in this game?
My Super Bowl experience was a long time ago. I think something I can really draw from that is just how chaotic it is when we get down there. telling a lot of the younger guys what to expect and make sure that the distractions that kind of come with that game are not so much so the game, but they're like, all of a sudden you have 20 family members that are down there. Everybody wants to have an experience down there. Just managing all that, making sure you have someone, like I tell my mom and my wife, it's like, hey, you're going to be the no person. Like, we're going to have a set dinner that we're going to go to, but, this is a business trip for me. And I tell a lot of the guys the same thing, is to, manage your expectations of your family, what you're supposed to do down there, and really focus on the game.
The level of chaos surprised you the first time, and did you not do
A little bit. More so like just the media day and the media obligations, because you're used to just doing what we do here, and then you get down there and it's like almost 100 times what you've done your whole entire career. So that's a little bit overwhelming at first, but I think there's lessons to be learned in that, and I think that we have enough guys here that have gone through it, and we have a good enough team and quality guys that it's not going to be a distraction.
What's it like going against Frank Clark, and how intense does he get on the field?
Yeah, I'm very familiar with Frank from his time in Seattle. He's a hell of a player. A guy that plays with relentless effort the whole entire time. So he's a huge challenge. And as far as like intense and like trash talking or anything like that, I never really had that. I don't really talk trash, and guys really don't talk trash much to me. So it's just kind of a battle. We have mutual respect for each other, and so it's going to be a hell of a battle going against him in the biggest stage.
In your previous Super Bowl, was there any surprise to you about the intensity of the game?
No, I think the surprise for me was like going up into the game, the build-up. You kind of tell yourself, this is another game. We're doing this in my whole entire life. And then you go out there for pregame warm-ups, and that was the only time for me that I actually felt like we're in the Super Bowl. Just because there's so many people around, you realize the moment that you're playing in the Super Bowl. And I think, too, just embrace that. And understand that you're playing in a game, but it's something you've been doing your whole entire life. You've prepared for this moment, and I think that's something you can really fall back on is just the preparation and understanding what you're going into and accepting it and going forward. But once the whistle blows and you play the first snap, everything is just same old.
I think your perspective on the second half of the career that you've had, or maybe your approach to the second half of the career, would have changed had you won that Super Bowl?
No, I think that was no. I don't really have a drawn answer, but I don't think it would have changed. And I wanted to play a certain amount of time. I wanted to play as long as I could still play at a high level that I felt like was up to my standard, and I haven't been falling off yet. So.
When you look at game tape of your run game and how it has been blocked, are you seeing, just generally speaking, really kind of high-level stuff, precise execution across the board? What have you seen from that?
Yeah, just seeing guys being on it, all 11. Really, just physical play, coming off the ball. A lot of execution. A lot of guys being on the details of blocks. And there's a lot of little intricacies about, exactly where to place your hat as an offensive lineman, or, the different rules that we have for receivers and tight ends and fullbacks, and everybody just doing it and being on top of those details. I think that's just generally speaking, how football is, though. When you're executing at a high level, it's about all those little details that, you go through the week of practice and get ironed out.
Joe, did you get an NFC Championship ring, obviously 7 years ago, and what do you do with it?
We did, and I have absolutely no idea where it is. I've never really. It's probably somewhere. I hope it's somewhere.
Joe, what makes Kyle such a good play caller, especially the timing of knowing when to make a call?
Yeah, it's just the way he's able to piece everything together and completely understand exactly how a defense is trying to attack us and defend what we do, and then exactly how to counter that. And he usually seems like he's 2 or 3 steps ahead. He understands, this certain play, while it might not give us that home run that we're looking for, it's going to set something up in the second quarter that is. And it's, he's a complete chess player when it comes to pieces on the football field and exactly how we design plays and how we put people in positions to be successful.
What makes Jimmy such a great leader, behind the scenes and then when you get on the field and in tough situations?
He's just an unbelievable human being, guys just love being around him. He's a very genuine human being, comes from, unbelievable family, just, salt of the earth kind of guy. But then B, here, his preparation, I think that's always what gets a lot of respect. Guys just preparing exactly, how they're supposed to. He knows every single detail of this offense. He knows exactly what his role is for a certain play, what he's supposed to do on this pass play or run play. And he just plays with incredible passion for the football game, and he makes you want to be better.
Were you surprised that you beat him at tic-tac-toe?
That was actually staged. Yeah. Thanks, Joe. Thanks.